Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 5, and today we're taking a look at the 2021 BMW M3 competition sedan. So production of this G80/G81 generation started in 2020, and this is basically a saloon version of the M4, which we've already looked at on this game, and this succeeded the F80 generation, which is, to be honest, my preferred generation of this kind of car, because basically it comes down to the looks. But still, it's being the competition version, it comes with an 8-speed M Steptronic Sport automatic gearbox, so for lightning fast gear changes that aren't reliant on you using a clutch or anything like that, so it's pretty damn quick. But yeah, basically being the sedan version of the M4 means that you basically just get more in the way of space. No real massive changes outside of that, outside of the fact it weighs about £9 more. But yeah, that's just purely due to the door kind of mechanisms and the like to be able to get in and out of the car at the back. So yeah, plenty of space in the rear, plenty of space in the boot. So overall it is a plenty spacious saloon car. So on that front it is a success, and I'm sure on a day-to-day basis it is a very much a livable with car. No doubt about that. BMW saloons that have been quick have always been a kind of a Jekyll and Hyde kind of thing. They've always been livable on a day-to-day basis, but once you want to go anywhere quick, it's more than capable of doing that, and this is more of that kind of thing as well. So being basically the saloon version of the M4, this has the same engine, which is a 3-litre twin turbocharged inline 6 engine, which produces 503 horsepower and 479 pounds-feet of torque, which again is a fairly good amount of power and torque, just like the M4 was. So yeah, nothing major else to say about this car other than the fact that I still don't like the look of the front of these vehicles. Just not a big fan of these massive grills. It just, yeah, not only ugly but just looks a little bit ostentatious and like, you know, kind of trying to draw attention to yourself and basically look at me when I'm driving, whereas BMW saloons of old that were sporty were discreet. They look basically the same as their standard counterparts, but they could always you know, tear up any track, while also easily beat a lot of more expensive cars from the time. But nowadays these kind of saloon cars from BMW are just as expensive as some sports cars and supercars, where at the end of the day they don't generally look any better, if better at all. So yeah, I'm not a massive fan of these cars, but nonetheless I get to out onto the open road and see what this car can do. Right, so here we are at the drag strip, so let's once again get to the speed camera and see how quick we can go before we hit it, and then we'll go around the track. So you can get an all-wheel drive version of this car, which is probably a little bit better in terms of launch, but these kind of BMWs, saloon cars, coupes that are M cars, yeah, they're much better in their rear-wheel drive variants, as they are a lot more fun to drive. And yeah, at the end of the day it's still plenty quick in terms of speed, so 138 mile an hour there is not half bad. So let's get to the track and see how it does there. But obviously first we will take a look at we'll take a listen to the engine, see how that sounds. But like I said, this is basically the saloon version of the M4, so if you've already seen the review of that car, then you know pretty much what you're going to get it for. So slip and slide our way to the track. Now this is part of the recent, well, the current festival playlist update, the new series. I think we're on series 25 now. And yeah, we've got a whole host of cars being added to the game, including a few more BMWs. But yeah, see what this is in rivals. So it's 772. So it's only about 6 PI less than the coupe variant that it is based on. So yeah, there's all of the stats. So near perfect 50-50 weight distribution, which is always a good thing, and overall the stats are fairly solid. So yeah, although the stats on this say that there is a big margin between this in terms of handling over the coupe version, but I personally haven't found any major differences. Braking is also apparently a little bit worse in this car, but I haven't heard and really felt that. So yeah, let's see what the engine sounds like, and then we'll talk about it some more. So yeah, this basically does everything you'd expect of a BMW of this type. Handles perfectly well, has a good rate of acceleration, good speed, and yeah, it's not too difficult to get used to in terms of its driving characteristics. Sound wise, I'm still not on board with these engines, to be honest. I think they're too overly reliant on their turbocharging, and that means therefore the engines are kind of taking a back seat in terms of the noise. Yeah, you can hear the turbocharger when you you know, change up gear or change down and whatnot, but yeah, I prefer engine noise over turbocharger noise, so yeah, not a big fan of the engine noise, quite frankly. But in terms of how it handles, it's perfectly good. No better, no worse. Exactly as you'd expect a BMW to pretty much handle. You can have some fun with it because it is only rear-wheel drive, but yeah, it's pretty much everything you'd expect. To be honest, there's no real surprises here at all. 0 to 60 is dealt with in only 3.5 seconds though, so that's pretty good. 0 to 100 is dealt with in 7.587 seconds, and without the limiter on it, I can do 193 or 94 miles an hour. It's pretty much in between the two of those in terms of the speed on this game. So yeah, overall a decent sports saloon, but it's by no means, got that a little bit wrong there, it's by no means my favourite of BMW's sports saloon lineup. I certainly preferred the F80 generation, and even more so I preferred the previous generation of M3 to that, which were only coupe, I believe. But even if they weren't, the saloon versions were good, and the V8 was spectacular in that car, and yeah, unfortunately that's not going to be anything we're going to get ever again. So yeah, but still, I imagine a lot of people are going to enjoy having the saloon version of this car on the game, but for me personally, it's a little bit redundant since we already had the coupe version, which at the end of the day is lighter and apparently a better handling and braking car than this one as well. So yeah, so overall a disappointment in some regards, but I'm happy for people that want this car on the game, and yeah, at the end of the day it is still also a new car to the Forza series, so props for that. So yeah, you can get this by getting 20 points in the festival playlist, which is easy enough as it is. Doesn't take that long at all, it takes about half an hour, so you can get those points easily enough. And yeah, if you enjoy these kind of cars, it's going to be well worth that on your front. So yeah, but nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.